Images. Images. What's a good one? What's the new? Where's the new one? Oh, the Ray one. You want to do it?
Well, there's two. Ray or you have Luke.
That's the Luke one. I like that one. We are going to watch something too at some point, but we'll leave that up for now. Looks sick, right?
Word.
Okay. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? Let's do it this way. Save images.
Oh, you can put them side by side.
What do you mean?
The Luke and Ray covers.
Yeah, I could. Let me save it actually. This is the pre-show there, kids.
Yes, pre-show.
Pre-show. Welcome. Usual. Where are my photos? Photos. Okay.
So I'm looking right past Marshall to his wall, which has some stuff on it, including a wonderful picture from Comic-Con 2 years ago.
Okay.
But he also has an extraordinary X-Men calendar up that says November 2016. I'm just saying.
Is that all? I mean, do you have anything else you need to say?
I'm guessing it's a 14-month calendar, and you bought it and you put it up for the first month and then never switched it?
It's probably true, dude. What am I gonna do about it? Nothing. That's not the most recent Ray one, actually. The one I just saved. It's this one.
Yes, it's that one.
Oh, that's so sick. Oh, that's a banner one, though. Where's the other one?
You're a banner one. Why don't you just follow the link in our show notes?
How about I just do whatever I want?
I'm just saying.
And I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Which is pretty much always whine like a little bitch.
Alright, I'm gonna slap this one up. I'm just gonna put the Luke one up, I think. I could probably get the other one up too, actually. Here, let me see. A little behind the scenes here, kids. It's not really behind the scenes, it's just me waiting till last minute to do things. How about that? What do you think? Too busy?
No, it's fine.
I can tell you think it's not fine, but you're going with it anyway.
No, I'm just saying I think it'd look better if you actually had the... I love you.
Alright, so we're going to go with that one.
Sounds good.
Alright. Zero prep, and we don't use OBS. We're not savages, Mox. This is an XSplit household, sir. Thank you. He'll hate that. It'll be funny. Alright, so let me, what do you mean zero prep? I've been doing nothing but prep, bro. Actually, I haven't done that much prep.
None. Mark said, ew, no wonder.
Don't ew me, sir. Alright. Cool. Are we ready? Got my beverage.
Yep.
Cheers. Ew. Don't ew me. I can't believe you ew this. Anything else?
Nope.
I don't do math, Mox. It looks like a math symbol. I don't do that. See,
I see.
that's funny.
I feel you, dog. No. I understand it. Doesn't mean it's funny.
Oh my god. Alright, I'm starting the show. I hate all of you.
The Death Star. That thing's operational.
Dr. Ben. Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Cat.
I'm always in.
Hello and welcome to episode 107 of The Usual Podcast, a podcast where we discuss Star Wars The Old Republic, the Star Wars franchise, and geek and pop culture. I'm your host, Marshall, and with me, after what seems like forever and a day, is my co-host, Will. Say what's up, buddy.
Actually, I believe it's 2 months in a day.
It hasn't been 2 months, but okay. Well, since we've been in the same room, I guess.
Yeah, 2 months in a day.
Adorable.
Adorable.
Anyway, we're just sitting
Also-
here. Oh, nope.
Also, I have to
Ruined
say
it.
that 107 is my fraternity ritual number.
And we're just sitting here enjoying our usual frosty beverages. What you drinking, buddy?
I am drinking Franziskaner Weissbier Naturtrub from the Spaten Brewery in Munich. They have been brewing since 1363.
I feel like you spoke another language, but that's okay. I'm all right.
I
with
did. It's called a German.
that. No, I don't speak German.
Oh, I just realized how appropriate I might be drinking a German beer today.
Why? Oh. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
And I'm just sitting here enjoying my an old staple of mine, a Hop Stupid ale from Lagunitas Brewing Company. They had a 6-pack and it was on sale, so I bought it. It's delicious. I just want to awkwardly stare at you. What are you doing?
I'm awkwardly looking at the Nightbot.
Oh, yeah, he got botted because he said a bunch of stuff, I guess. I don't know what happened. Did you get booted? Let me turn my bot off. I'm not even logged in.
Seriously, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 messages.
No, he got botted somehow. Maybe. Hold on a second. Sorry, we'll get right back to the show in a mo. One of our peeps got botted. Let me see something here. Oh, I don't know how to do this.
I totally don't understand bots, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no, he must have been posting too much or something, and it thought, I don't know what I have it set at. So, sorry, yeah, you did got botted by the old Nightbot there, Mox. My bad, bro. Unless you said something offensive, which you would never do that. So, I was going to try to turn it off, but I don't know how to do that. So, here we are. You're back, though, right? Buddy? Buddy, old boy? This will be good for the bloopers.
Absolutely. Sorry, I had to yawn there.
So before we get started, if you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I am at Darth Pops on Twitter. Will is at IMOGriggs. And of course, we're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and all those places. So when you see us, give us positive ratings. We would love some more ratings and stars and such. And share us when you see us. That'd be great. And we do have the timestamps in the show notes. We're going to be talking about San Diego Comic-Con, some SWTOR news, some influencer exclusive stuff, which will be pretty cool.
A little bit of Disney news.
Yeah, a little Disney news. But if you want to jump around, I always put the timestamps in the show notes if you just want to check out for Star Wars and pop culture. So here we are.
Sounds good.
All right, man. So thank you to the chat room. Sorry, some people got botted a moment ago, but I'm not in control of bots. I feel like they're going to take over the world anyway. So here we are. Right?
Yeah, bots are weird.
SWTOR time.
You want to fight? I'm ready.
You do not have to stand against me. Instead, I will share all of this with you if you will only kneel.
All right, dude. So Star Wars The Old Republic. Real quick, before we get into this whole thing, let's just talk about our Puck Cantina. We have not recorded since then.
We have not.
Our last show was episode 106, which was from the Cantina in San Diego during Comic-Con. We were joined by some of the best people in the world. Yeah, Jesse came down for the third year in a row. Who do we have?
Elise.
Actus and Elise, and Devin showed his pretty face this year, which was awesome. And Ray and Steve and his wife and
Red and Pretty
Red and Heather, and we just had a really kick-ass time. It's all over, on the social media. I think I pinned it to the top of the Twitter, the Periscope, if you want to check that out. And it is our last episode, of course. But I just want to thank, obviously, Mission Brewing Company for putting us up again. My wife's shop, Pippi's Long Stockings, gave some awesome prizes this year, which was really damn cool. And of course, just thanks everybody for making the trip and hanging out with us and drinking with us and such.
Of course, and anybody can still get the the official Pucked Cantina T-shirts.
yes.
If you go to teespring.com/Pucked2017 or teespring.com/Pucked2017 Women's.
Sweet. Yeah, man. It was fun. Highlights for you, sir?
The Puck Cantina definitely was a lot of fun.
I just mean from the canteen.
Oh, from the cantina, yeah, it was a good time. We got into a heated debate about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, there was some heat around Game. The first episode had just dropped before San
Right.
Diego, and it was hard to keep down everybody's speculations and strong feelings towards people that are awesome, like Arya Stark, because come on, she's amazing.
Arya is awesome.
So yeah, I mean, obviously we're up to episode 5's airing tonight.
Yeah, 5 is airing tonight.
So after this, I'm watching that for sure.
I might have to,
That's nope. Oh, anyway, so just messing with you, buddy. Anyway, man, so anything else with Pucked you want to talk about?
No, I thought it was great. Mission Brewery was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was a lot easier since we lifted there this time.
Yeah.
And we didn't walk.
I walked.
You did not?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
walked.
did? No, yeah.
I left ahead of you guys and I walked. It's not that far.
Yeah, I had to stay late because we were still eating.
Anyway, yeah, dude, it was a ton of fun. I can't wait to do it again next year. So, real quick, since this is at the top of the show and technically in SWOTOR, if you want to join us or you're interested in San Diego Comic-Con, my best suggestion to you before all the madness starts up again for next year is just to go to just Google San Diego Comic-Con, make a member ID, sign up for the emails, and you'll get notified when it's time to go for the lottery for tickets and stuff like that. And we'd love to have any of you guys who are listening join us there.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's always a great time. I mean, you've been 6 years now. I've been 5.
Indeed.
It's a good time.
Yeah, we'll talk some more highlights later in the show about the con in general, but I just wanted to put Pucked out there. Thank you to everybody who showed up. Ooh, snuck up on me. Okay, so the council. This is we got a preview, actually, during the Puck Cantina. Elise was talking about the things she does online, remember?
Yep.
And she says, I have a secret project going. And we're like, well, you're going to tell us right now, right? So I guess Sakari, Magic, Redna, and Elise are doing a Twitch vodcast, I guess is what it's called The Council, where they sit around and talk SWTOR stuff.
Oh, cool.
And I have not, sadly, got a chance to watch their first one, but I have a link in the show notes to that, and I can't wait to check it out. And I'll talk more about that next week for sure. But I want to give a shout out to those guys. I love all those people. Magic actually was in our raid group. She wogged with us the other night.
Nice.
So it was really cool as well. And Red, of course. Elise couldn't make it, but I'm only kind of mad at her.
Because she's a slacker.
Yeah, well, no big deal. Anyway, man, so that's that. And any other... Oh, one more thing. So Crisis on Umbara, we talked about, is the next expansion. That is coming out on August 22nd, which is...
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. So essentially, they've given us kind of free reign at this point in the day, on this day, to on our channels to show the teasers for influencers. So
Let's
I thought
do
that
it.
was kind of cool. It's just a short little teaser, and then I'm going to show an even more fun one. You guys ready? I didn't set this up ahead of time. Mox, don't judge me. But give me just 1 second. And I will...
I am sorry that I'm yawning
Yeah,
so much.
could you yawn some more?
I really don't know
It
what I
would be
mean.
really great if you could yawn just a little bit more. It's fine. I mean, I can't edit them out sometimes, so then I just get to hear it, and it's fine.
Hashtag Marshall's a bitch.
Just giving you a hard time, dude. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put that over Luke for a second here. All right, so if you are in the chat room, which hopefully Mox didn't get kicked out again, well, we're going to watch the teaser, and this is the Old Republic, the Crisis on Umbara teaser trailer. Ready?
The train is on the move, and the traitor's on board.
Nothing we can do.
So, that was it. What do you think?
I think it looks cool. What's up with the new outfit?
That's the Outlander's new little digs, man. What do you think?
Interesting.
You're not feeling it?
It's very finny.
Yeah, there were like some shoulder fins.
Yeah.
I like shoulder fins. You don't like shoulder fins? It's kind of futuristic. It's like
You're the same person that likes all the feathers on the Sith Lords, don't you?
feathers make you cool. It's like in the old timey days, dude. When you have ruffles, the more ruffles, the cooler you are, right?
Good point. Good point. They're like epaulets.
Yeah, I'm just more ruffles, fins. It's all the same. You know when you like go to the future in old timey movies and like they all have rings around them?
Yes.
Same thing.
I got you.
Okay, so since we're talking about so stupid, since we're talking about community stuff, passionately casual. Some of our friends, one of them may or may not be in the chat room still. If my bot didn't exclude, oh no, he said he's there. Hey, buddy. They put out a really hilariously coolly voice acted version of that trailer.
Let's see it.
I watched it earlier. It's pretty damn funny. Hold on a second. Again, no preparation here whatsoever. Hold, please. Good thing I'm not using OBS.
Damn.
Yeah, boom, son. All right, let's check this out.
I'm sorry. Every time it says Umbara, I think Umbrella.
It does look like Umbrella. Stardust Legacy Pictures.
Working on the Swatter film, I was a dream man in the childhood when I was a little boy. For these shots, we used the model of the planet Umbara, made of blue cheese, which our visual effects director held with a barbecue tongs in front of a red light bulb.
Playing Theron Sean fulfills all my fantasies.
You are Theron Sean.
Yeah, I am, aren't I?
Try to ignore the Clone Wars airship blind-eyed. It was from the soundstage next to us at the studio.
I'm pretty sure the script supervisor lost her job over that one.
Yeah, as the executive producer, I was responsible for many key decisions. You see that new outfit that the Outlander's wearing? Yeah, that was my idea.
That's my stunt double, Bob. My contract doesn't allow me to leave.
I remember we had to do that take about 8 times because Theron kept landing on his...
Not true. Well, I mean, technically it's true, but not cool. Definitely not cool.
It's pretty cool, huh? I love those guys.
That was pretty cool.
Obviously, that was JT and Will, and not this Will, different Will. Sorry, I'm lost. It's super funny. I love it. And so people were, other influencers doing other things with it. I didn't have time to do anything cool with it. So I just showed it to you guys, and you got to see it. Anything else?
Was Jess doing an English accent there?
Maybe.
Just curious.
Anyway, buddy, let's move on. So, did you do anything in game while you were gone, buddy? Anything?
I did actually quite a bit. I started playing the GTN a little bit.
Making any money?
Yeah, a couple million. I really didn't have a ton to sell, but I cleared out my my command stash, and so now I'm holding all the armor set stuff that I got until I get the rest of it, so I can.
That's all.
Wow.
Yeah, no, Mox just tuned in and he said took Jess about 12 hours to do that. Yeah, it shows. That was really well done. Jess, hats off to you. That kind of stuff takes a long time.
Yeah,
Great job. So continue, buddy. You made no money.
Oh, I made a couple million, but it was because I was selling all the stuff from Command Stash, which a lot of people would have had because they've leveled up further in Command than I have.
Right.
But, you know, like I sold one thing. I sold a set of bracers that I'd gotten that wasn't as good as what I had, so I sold it for $800,000. Stuff
Nice,
like that.
dude. Yeah.
I started doing a lot of trying to finish up some achievements. So I was going around trying to get all the really hard to get gear stuff that you get from the epic drops with the Cedar droid.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the Seeker droid?
Yeah, the Seeker droid.
Yeah.
And so while doing that, I was picking up a lot of the the exploiter and the explorer and the pleasure cruiser ship parts.
Oh, cool.
And so I was able to sell all those for $25,000 to $100,000 each, and
Nice.
so
Not
I was making a little money here and there. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I was doing.
Cool, man. I actually, well, we've been in San Diego. I've been on vacation. I was off the grid for about a week, which is why we're finally back after a couple weeks. But I'm glad to be back. And speaking of, I didn't get called into work Friday night, so I got to come back to WOG. And I mentioned this earlier already, but it was a ton of fun. We one-shotted Tithe and the Sisters.
Nice.
And we had some time to kill, so we went and did, Dreadtooth twice on 2 different instances, and the same with Trapjaw. I said Lockjaw earlier. It's Trapjaw on Tatooine.
Right, Tatooine.
And it was a ton of fun, man. It was just fun to be with everybody again, have a couple drinks. It's just nice to hear all the voices of our awesome guild again.
Right,
So
Dreadtooth is the one on Section X, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually one that I've never beaten, and so it's something I need for achievement.
Well, you should have joined us.
But I do also need to set up something through the guild to get a group of to do world boss stuff, because I still have that mission to get I think it's the Acolyte Ice.
Oh yeah.
Speeder,
those.
and you
I
have to
still have
go
those
around
too.
yeah. So I definitely want to get that one. It's either ice or fire. I can't remember which one.
Totally. Yeah, man. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. I'm stoked to be back, honestly. And,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you started work a few days ago.
Yeah.
I start work day after tomorrow. Really, tomorrow.
Back to the grind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna be nice.
I got at least a 12-hour day tomorrow. It's a registration night. It's my favorite
Oh,
night.
awesome.
No, I'm not excited. Okay, let's move on. So we're gonna get into some news. It's just a couple quick things. We're so behind, and so many people have been covering most of this stuff. I really just want to focus on a couple of discussion topics that popped up. But just a couple of news items. Season 8 rewards came out for PvP, which is pretty cool. There's a Flamin' Macron mount, which looks
that's cool.
Pretty badass. You can see it over in the other screen. And there's some other pretty cool weapons and stuff like that. Obviously, the beef to the community team is essentially, why do they wait till now? The season, I think, is ending on the 22nd with the next patch. So, this just came out.
Right.
Why not could you tell them ahead of time so they know what they're working towards? So then, either they're going to do it or they're not. I still don't quite understand that. It baffles me. But
me either. The flaming macron mount, I think, is very cool.
Mhm.
But the funny thing is there still is that unfixed achievement of where you have to set 100 macrons on fire when you kill them, and you still can't do it.
Huh.
It's been that way for 3 years.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to solve that problem then, dude. I don't know how, but there's some changes with unassembled components having to do with PvP as well. That's coming in 5.4. Hopefully making it so their time in a nutshell, their time in PvP will get them more unassembled components to get gear. So
right.
I just nutshelled it because I don't do PvP that much. But it is interesting that they're still working on doing that. And let's see, scheduled maintenance 5.4 is launching on August 22nd, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, next week I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
too.
we talked about all the things in the roadmap coming up, and I can't wait for the patch notes to come out. But we'll talk about all that next week. But yeah, new Flashpoint and Crisis of Umbara, new Stronghold, and all that stuff. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, that's right. The Stronghold's gonna be on
Umbara.
Is it on Umbara?
Yeah, that's the train.
That's right. It's the train one.
That's why we just watched the thing for the.
Yeah, I know.
For the train.
I hate you.
I know. I just thought it out there, bro.
No, I forgot the Stronghold was a train.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I did like that the Manon Stronghold only had 4 things to unlock instead of 9. They were all more expensive than the first ones, so that was fine. But it just, I liked it, and they were just bigger sections.
Yeah, I went through and unlocked it all. It was pretty cool. I haven't decorated it much, but I did put some of the big pieces up. So from where you zone in at, if you look up on the right, because they have that big centerpiece hook up there, is my biggest statue. So it's this. I think it's the big Revan statue or something, where it's looking down on you. It looks pretty badass.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I actually decorated quite a bit. I mean, not really in depth. I mean, I did a lot of things. I mean, I set up because I made it my main stronghold, and
nice.
so I created my whole area that has like all my cargo holds. It has my fabricator droids and
Cool.
the GT and stuff like that. But then I've just as you get on Manon and you have that big long walkway before you even get inside, all of my pets are lined up on either
adorable.
side. So that's really cool. And then when you go in, it's got pictures of planets.
Yeah.
With the planet pedestals in front of it.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's kind of cool. And then when you go outside, I've got the lounge area that you got for the Manon if you bought the pack from Cartel Coins. And on either side are the light side and dark side Datacrons.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah, with the new the new Manon statue you got.
Yeah.
And behind it are all of my companions.
Nice.
And everything is really kind of cool. And then to the side, I've got a bar with the dance floor.
While you were talking, we were talking smack about you in the chat room. So the next thing here is launcher is being updated. Please wait. Now with the his face is priceless. So the issue really is, obviously you probably know this. Windows has stopped kind of supporting Vista, or stopped supporting Windows Vista and XP.
Right.
And so the issue with that is people who are still running those operating systems are running up against an issue launching the game after the latest update from SWTOR's side. So there's a workaround, I guess, but they're really just encouraging people to upgrade. I still have I have Windows 7 on this machine, which I like. I have Windows 10 on my laptop. I'm getting used to it, but
I personally really like Windows 10.
Yeah, a lot of people do, and they've worked a lot of the bugs out.
Yeah,
too.
they did. Well, they took out the worst parts of 8 and kept the best parts. So I do really like it, and it's a smaller file and it's faster. I like it. But I think they're going to be supporting 7 for quite a bit longer because
I think
it's the most stable recent one.
Yeah, no, I dig 7, and I just kind of locked in on it on this machine, but I haven't had any issues except for that one I've been having that's with the update from a while ago. Anyway,
right.
Still working on that one, but. So there's a lot of posts about it. I have a link in the show notes to it. If you're having that problem, that's the reason. So definitely work on getting that fixed. But if you have Vista XP, that's your main issue. Also class changes: Lethality and Operative, Ruffian Scoundrel, and Fury Marauder and Concentration Sentinel. I just have the links in there if you want to check out what's coming in the patches coming up.
Very cool.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here's the big one. One big one. We're not going to Star Wars yet. We have discussion topics, bro.
Wow. Sorry, I was scrolling down the show notes. And yes, Chuck and Brian, we have show notes.
Oh, do we have show notes?
5%.
Will doesn't know what's in them, but I have show notes.
It's 5% prep will.
Another burn. Okay, so server legacy merger discussion thread. So I want to open this up because I want to read one line from it. This is a thread that's been going for a bit, but the main thing about it is people have been like, you're not responding. What are you doing about it? Blah, blah. So obviously now the conversation is kind of going towards, instead of making a mega server, just merging all of the servers, which is what they did early on. Remember, they merged a bunch of servers?
Yes.
Right? We used to be on Wound of the Force, and now
they went from like 20 servers to 6 or something.
Yeah. More than 20, I think, in the beginning. But anyway, so this is what happens. So he says,
he being...
this is Keith.
Okay.
He says, thanks for the slap. We haven't been communicating anything about server plans, but have dropped a number of hints. Even in the interview I did, we said we're considering virtually everything in this thread, plus a ton of other technical details. And he says, although you all know all this, if a server merge was the direction, then we need to make sure we understand the reasons why players don't want to move. Because, again, you can move servers. Right.
Right.
And there's obviously a lot of things that go along if they do this, right? So he says there's hardware, software, connectivity, database considerations, also a ton of in-game things to consider, like legacy cargo hold, slots across multiple servers, decorations and strongholds, currency caps, merging of legacies, number of characters on a server, keeping the guilds and guild assets intact, and more. Also names, stuff like that. People are going to lose their names. And you have conquest, domination of large guilds over everyone else, which is another component, because if everybody's on the same one, obviously the bigger guilds are going to win conquest every week. So that's something to keep in mind. He says, lastly, as we've done with our East Coast servers, we need to upgrade the environment to ensure it's a great experience for everyone. And hopefully in the upcoming roadmap, they'll have a plan. But he's not committing anything, obviously, because they never will on this probably. But
of course not.
But it is what it is. And it does... I'm just curious what you think. Should they just keep it kind of the way it is? There's only so many servers as it is right now. Or should people just... I think the major issue, too, is larger guilds on an unpopulated server. If they want to move, there's a lot of difficulties with that. There's also people on less populated servers that want to RP and just want to be on their small servers, and it's a great environment for them. So forcing them to move is an issue. So there's a lot of things going on here, more than just like, we want queues to put all the servers together.
Right. The nomination of the larger guilds doesn't really touch me personally, just because if I'm going to do Conquest, I do it for the Conquest points and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it because, our guild doesn't really compete for it that way.
And that would be all that was left anyway
Exactly.
at that point. Yeah.
But what does get me is the different types of styles that play. I mean, like, they've kind of fixed the issue with there being PvP versus PvE.
Sure.
Because you
with
can
the instances.
Right, with the instances. But what really gets it, I think, would be RP.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be, because honestly, if you have RPers that are into PvP,
right,
they're RPing, so they're going to be going at a slower pace, and
Sure.
They're going to be easier to gank, and I just think it's...
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on here, man, and I just think there's a lot of really good discussions going on in the community, and excuse me, if you listen to any of the other podcasts, it they're going to talk about it one way or another. What is it? The only way to get Guild Conquest, he was on join BBB. What does that mean?
Must be a huge guild.
Yeah. So, it must be, yeah. So, I mean, but that's really it. I mean, if you really care about that, though,
you would have been part of that guild already, I would think.
Probably. But at the same time...
Or if it was... not if you care about it, if it was that important to you.
Yeah. And
if it's that important to you, I'm sorry, you could create a new character and join that guild with that character.
Sure. But, I mean, I don't know, man. I think Bloodbath.
That's a great guild name.
That's awesome. I think what's interesting, though, man, is... I think the loss of names and what you're going to do with your stuff is the biggest thing. For me, I know that's why my main's name is what it is. It wasn't always that. I had to add a letter.
Right.
And a couple of the other characters, I had to change their names completely when we moved from Shadowlands to Harbinger. That was a willing move. When it was Wound of the Force Wound in the Force, and then we moved to a different server. Mm-hmm. There was another issue.
The Bastion.
Yeah, and
we've
then
been on 4 servers.
We've been on a bunch of servers. So yeah, and then we went to the Bastion. So for me, that's my issue. Is I don't want to have to reopen strongholds. I don't want to have to redecorate stuff. So if all that was smooth, I don't want to have to deal with. I couldn't imagine our guild leaders trying to move our whole guild over and stuff like that. So if they can figure that stuff out, cool. If not, I don't know if server merge is the best thing, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think we have so few servers right now anyways.
Yeah.
That, and really there's, only a few West Coast, a few East Coast. It's like...
True.
You can't have one major server and just everybody... because...
Well, you can, and a lot of games do it, but again, if you start that way, it's one thing.
Yeah.
If you... and there's other ways around it, too. I've heard some other suggestions, too, where they can kind of mess with it a little bit to where it's not... exactly merging everything together, but like some things are shared, you know what I mean? Like just, Q pops or something like that. But again, that's cross server, which is the issue that we've been talking about
exactly
anyway,
for years.
Let's talk about something that's near and dear to my heart because, I like everything legacy based.
Yeah, you do.
Legacy based currency. I thought this would be a nice change because I don't know if you saw this yet.
I have not.
So Keith said, as of right now, it's not a legacy currency. And he's saying, the question was, I assume that the new currency would be legacy-wide. And this, I think, is the one that has to do with getting the stronghold from Umbara, right? Because you have to run the flashpoint 10 times to get a key, and that'll lessen your price of unlocking it, right? So, it's not legacy-wide, he says. It's not legacy currency, but I know exactly what you're thinking, so let me pre-announce something, which I suspect will make you smile, while at the same time irritate you because I won't tell you until I update the roadmap. We're working to could change currencies to legacy base. This includes unassembled components, credits, the Umbara currency, and more. I'm not aware of any major obstacles preventing this from happening, and doing so will help a number of changes we're planning for the future.
No more credit transfers.
Dude, let me just tell you. And I remember when EverQuest 2 did this, when I was playing that game forever ago. Doesn't matter what character you log into, and I I mean, taking it a step further would be account wide. So if you change servers, you would have all of those credits, right? But even if it's just legacy wide, if I log into my main, I have the same amount of credits as when I log into my brand new character.
Yeah, because, well, for example, as an example, when you're crafting, as long as you keep all your mats in your legacy stronghold, any character can pull from those mats when they're
which
crafting.
is a great change
Exactly.
back in the day.
Why haven't they done it to credits as well?
I'm not sure. I think my only guess is because they were waiting to do it to all currencies and not just one at a time. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt because they should have done credits a long time ago. But that aside, I'm stoked about this. I could not be more excited. I cannot wait until I don't have to shuffle credits to a new tune or deal with that stuff. And obviously there's other issues with preferred characters and stuff like that where, sorry, Doc. Out. Go, Dag. Can you call him, babe? Sorry, dog came in the room again. There's obviously issues with preferred characters where they have legacy, they have caps on currency and stuff like that. So they have a number of kinks to work out. But I'm just really excited about the legacy-ness of this. The legacy-ness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Plus, it's like when I went to unlock Manon, I had to transfer a whole bunch of credits to know if I had enough or anything. It'd be nice to just log into my main and say, "Oh, okay, I've got 12 million credits."
Yeah.
Among everybody,
done. Exactly. All right, man. So that's basically what I'm most excited about. I cannot wait until I don't have to deal with. I mean, and I hope and if it's across all currencies, then you just have one tab where it's currencies, and you've got everything under there, and it just make everything so much easier.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be on your personal inventory.
Right.
The currencies tab, it's just on your legacy stronghold.
Yeah, and it's just all there.
Well, it's assuming that everybody has purchased the legacy stronghold. That's the thing.
Even still, I think the currencies tab on your inventory will just become your legacy currency tab.
Yeah,
that's the way I imagine it happening. But we'll see how it goes, man. All right, dude. Anything else for SWTOR? Should we jump out of here and talk about some pretty cool Star Wars stuff, man?
Yeah, let's talk about Star Wars.
I'm not ready with the bumper, but just kidding. Here we go.
I was ready to do one thing, but I've got nothing to fight for. Nothing will stand in our way. I will finish what you started.
Why is that always the trailer you get all inappropriate on? Why is that?
Because it lends itself to being inappropriate.
Okay. I chose that. Okay. Nope. All right. So, first thing, discussion topics in Star Wars news. Mark Hamill Drive. That happened while we were in San Diego. Actually, right before, right? Mark Hamill Drive.
What was it? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's in the show notes.
Dude, I hate you so much.
Anyway, let me open this up so I can find exactly where it is. But council member in San Diego, 6th Council District, includes the neighborhoods of blah, 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 blah. He says, basically, let me find out where it is. The 5900 block of Castleton Drive, beginning at Mount Abernathy Avenue, will be closed. And it says it's going to be now Mark Hamill Drive. And you can actually see a picture of it in the show notes, which is pretty cool. It's actually, so what it is, it's like it's got the street sign's the same, but they added on the top, it says Honorary Mark Hamill Drive, which is badass.
That's cool.
I just think that's pretty cool. He deserves it, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
I love me some Hamill.
I mean,
obviously.
Annie became a Disney legend this year.
It's very fitting, so that's exciting.
2017 is a good year for Hamill.
It really is. It's Hamill's year. Sadly, we lost Carrie, but...
Well, it was 2016, but, thanks for staying on top of things.
Mm.
Wow, I just called you out.
Are you sure it was 16?
She died in December.
Oh, I remember now, because it was close to other things. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the big news. Okay.
Mic drop.
Big news.
Yeah. EW
Entertainment Weekly
always comes out with their big issue for most major films, but they do like big double issues, especially when you're coming out Star Wars or Harry Potter or whatever. But this is also serving as their fall preview, so there's a ton of content in this. And online they separated it into 8 different sections, which is very cool.
Right. Well, the link I have in the show notes is really it's Nerdist's like conglomeration of it all, which is kind of a easier way to kind of digest it.
It is. Well, this is their ongoing update thread that they've been doing for the last year and a half. If you follow their link to the actual original EW article, if you scroll to the bottom, it has links to the 8 different sections.
Exactly. So that aside, let's just talk about a couple of cool things. How about that? The major thing, I think, that'll give us some food for thought. And I've heard this on some other Star Wars podcasts and stuff. People have been talking about it. Obviously, this isn't brand new news, but as of the last couple of days. But the cool thing is, I guess Luke Skywalker, within the interviews and everything, it comes out that Luke Skywalker believed that Kylo Ren was the chosen one.
Yeah, and actually, it's really interesting because, I mean, there have been a few other instances, obviously, in the saga where they've talked about the chosen one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Obi-Wan screams it at Anakin. Qui-Gon believed it about Anakin. And that would obviously be why, if Luke was instilling that in Kylo Ren, why Kylo Ren would have such an affinity to Vader.
Right.
Right? But it kind of goes to that whole idea of, as a teacher, and you can speak of this more as a teacher,
probably
your favored pupils, you think about being the one that's going to succeed.
Yeah.
Whether they are the chosen one of prophecy, but if you look throughout the whole history of Star Wars, I mean, Yoda thought that a little bit about Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon thought that about Vader.
Right. True.
Vader thought that, or
Anakin, you mean?
Yeah, Anakin.
Yeah.
Emperor thought that about Vader.
Right.
Luke thought that about Kylo. Obi-Wan thought it about Luke a little bit. It's like,
which is interesting. So do you, I mean, and I guess the way to kind of take this would be, because he thought he was a chosen one and getting betrayed by that chosen one, that's why he goes into exile, and that's why he's so reluctant to be part of the wider world at this point.
You know what I honestly think, as somebody who's really academically looked at a lot of the Matrix universe, the way that individual masters or lords in the Star Wars universe consider the idea of the chosen one is what I think of Neo as the chosen one. And that ultimately ended up being like there's a new Neo every generation.
Right.
It's just recycled the story because that's what the architect needed.
Right.
In this, it's like every generation has that new chosen one, because the whole prophecy of the chosen one is that they're going to bring balance to the Force.
Right.
And if you think about it, every single time there's too much light in the galaxy. And so the one that they think is the chosen one is the one that turns dark, and it brings balance to the Force.
And it essentially does exactly what the prophecy says it's going to do.
Exactly.
But
for example, what Qui-Gon thought, what Obi-Wan thought, and what I'm sure Luke thought is like, to bring balance to the Force isn't to eradicate the opposition.
No, it's to bring balance.
Balance.
And you see this, it's really interesting in Rebels when you have that, the Bendu character.
The Bendu character.
And he's really, truly as close to probably a gray Force user kind of Jedi thing that you were going to get, because you're in the middle and you're not going out of your way to help one or the other. You see the importance of both because the balance is important.
Exactly. And I think this is what Luke has learned since the downfall of Kylo, or the usurpation of Kylo.
Right.
Is that he finally understands what balance is, and it's not light winning over dark. It's actual balance, and that's why he's turned towards the wills.
Yeah. And so obviously, I think what you're saying, Luke goes and looks towards that to see, okay, so what is behind all of this? Is it really, does good have to win, or does it have to be good and evil in order for the Force to exist the way it's supposed to?
Yeah, because if there's balance, I mean, there is no good without evil.
Mm-hmm.
If there is no evil, good just is.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
Right.
It can't be good because it's not better than anything else.
Right. That's a good point. All right. So there's obviously the question of Rey's past as well.
Right.
And Daisy says, let's see. It will affect the character with the... Okay, so she says, you can always look for answers, and that doesn't mean that the rest of your life is so easy. It's not like, oh, I know who my parents are, and so now everything falls into shape, especially in the Star Wars world.
Yeah, I mean, how did Luke's life get easier after he found out Vader was his father?
Right, and the idea here, too, is that when she shows up, obviously Luke kind of tries to shoo her away. And you get that impression, just the build-up to it is... I feel like his first words can be like, why are you here, or go away, or like, I don't want that, or don't give me that lightsaber.
It's going to be, you shouldn't have come.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Okay. So something like that. Any other thoughts on Daisy's past? Are you thinking more and more that she is a Skywalker, or do we want to?
I don't think it really matters.
I don't think so
honestly
either.
At this point.
Yeah.
I'm still actually hoping she's a Kenobi.
Yeah, me too. But there's also the DJ characters highlighted in here as well. That's Benicio del Toro's character. And then
he's a slicer.
Yep, and he's connected to Finn and Rose's storyline.
Yep,
which I think is going to be pretty cool.
Which is going to take place on a Cantina World,
right? Which I think is
Casino World.
Casino World, which I think is going to be pretty cool. What else do we have? Anything else jumped out at you of this stuff, dude? There was another line in here I wanted to say. Oh, Hamill told Luke's line about being time for Jedi to end shook him. What would make someone that alienated from his original convictions? That's not something that you can just make up in an afternoon, and I really struggled with this thing. And that is, that's really interesting. Luke is a broken man. This is EW's Anthony Brezikin writes that Luke is a broken man. Hamill told him Luke's line about it being time for the Jedi to end shook him. And that goes back to that what we were talking about. That's not the direction I would have gone kind of with the character.
Well, exactly. Well, because you got to remember with Luke, he bought in fast to the idea of the Jedi. I mean, you got to remember. I mean, even while he had just gotten on the Millennium Falcon, and he looks at Han Solo and dismissively says, "You don't believe in the Force, do you?"
Right, like all smug. That's why I love that line. And we're going back to Seth MacFarlane in Blue Harvest, where he goes, "Oh, that thing you just learned about 5 minutes ago," or something like that. I just love that.
Exactly.
And then I guess part 3 has to do with some of the aliens and such.
Well, it talks about the Porgs, which are the puffin-looking.
People are pretty stoked about those things.
They're cute. Well, plus you got to remember when we were talking about at Comic-Con on Puck, we were talking about the books coming up for the Journey to the Force. Journey to the Last Jedi, and one of the books is a kid's book of Chewbacca with the Porgs.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So that'll be kind of cool. What I'm more excited about is the caretakers is what they're called.
The nuns.
Well, they're an all-female caretakers, and the guy who's writing the story kind of hypothesizes that because they're amphibious, that they may have been because this is the original site of the Jedi, right? The first Jedi temple,
right under Octu. Yep.
Right, and then that these creatures might have been from the water, and they're force sensitive, so they were pulled to the island, and then when the Jedi disappeared, they came out of the waters to caretake for the temple.
Interesting. That'd be cool.
And granted, it's just the writer talking about it.
Oh, sure.
But I think that's a great concept.
Yeah, I like it. There's also, we have a look at Supreme Leader Snoke's Praetorian Guards, which is obviously
very cool.
A callback to Roman times or whatever. With the
the Praetorian is a callback, but the Imperial Guard
obviously the Imperial Guards. But I'm just saying going back further.
Yes, the Praetorian is where the Roman the Roman Senate
emperors
Senate. I think it was both Senate and
Emperor. The Emperor's Guards, yeah,
totally. But what I love is that the Praetorians here each have individual weapons.
Yeah, and the weapons look freaking cool, dude.
And one of them, and they haven't shown pictures yet, but people are thinking that there's going to be a lightsaber nunchuck.
Oh, I'm in. I could not be more.
Can you imagine hitting yourself in the balls with that?
I can, but that's just to have a really good imagination, and it hurts.
Yeah. First of all, we're looking at a whole bunch of pictures from the EW article here that you can see through the show notes.
Sure.
But I've also posted them all to the Star Wars board on my Pinterest page.
Nice. Yeah, there's some great stuff here, man. And we are only a few months away, dude.
I know, it's ridiculous. We're now in August. It's August 13th. We're now 4 months and 2 days away.
About 100 days soon, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's about all I want to cover on that. Also, there's some stuff about Carrie Fisher as well. I'd rather leave that part of it kind of. I kind of purposely didn't read the Princess Leia stuff only because we've got some books coming out, but also at the same time, I really just want to see how it goes.
Yeah,
with her
I did read it, and there actually wasn't a ton to it, except for that they're really reinforcing the fact that they're rewriting Episode 9 to reflect the fact that she's no longer here.
Awesome.
Not that the character won't be there, but the storyline is going to work around it somehow.
Good. Okay. Well, and that's what they told us was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, man. I could not be more excited. I'm glad all this stuff dropped, which I think is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, and for those of you listening, this might seem like we're skipping some. I mean, it seems like a light news week kind of, but you got to remember with the end of convention season and before the TV season starts, this is like a dead period for pop culture.
Yeah, it is. And there's other stuff you could probably pull out of these. There is the Kylo Ren stuff we kind of talked about already. We didn't talk about Poe either. But I mean, I don't like diving too much into this stuff.
No, you don't want to dive too deep.
Mostly because I want to be surprised, but at the same time, there are some really cool pictures in here too. And I'm stoked to see. The one other thing I'd like to talk about before we go out of the section, though, is there is certainly going to be a connection between Kylo Ren and Rey.
He's just fascinated by her.
Yeah, whether it be, and again, who knows what that connection really is going to be fully, but I'm guessing it has something to do with her being on Jakku and all of that. Well, I don't think it's going to come to light that they're related, but there is going to be some. Obviously, they're very much dark and light on the sides of the Force in this go around. And who knows? You think she'll be tempted by the dark? Is it going to be pretty cut and dry? I don't know.
Exactly. One thing I do want to point out is that Andy Serkis, who does Snoke.
Oh, the Snoke thing. Yeah.
They've come out and said that even though he's going to be there in physical form, not just in hologram this time, he's still going to be completely mocap.
Yeah, and apparently Serkis killed it. From what I hear, like it's pretty damn cool.
Well, I mean, Serkis. Honestly, I still don't understand how Serkis did not get an Oscar nomination for playing Caesar in. I mean, he's been Caesar in all the Planet of the Apes movies, but the first one he was phenomenal.
Right. Yeah. So there's obviously, and there was another thing that said something about Snoke. He'll be there in form, but you're still not going to know much about his past. Kind of the same with Finn and some of the other characters. Like they're not doing origin stuff. Right. They're just kind of going forward. Exactly. That's the kind of the feel I got from it.
Exactly.
So, anyway, man.
Although I do want to say that I saw a new, it's probably been around for a while, but it's new to me. I saw a meme that postulated a new person on who Snoke could be.
Oh God, really? And it's not Mace Windu again?
Tarkin.
Oh, that would be really interesting. Except he's hella dead.
Well, they showed a morphing of...
he's dead.
Well, yeah. Well, the actor is too, but...
It's a callback to earlier when I said homeboy died.
He died.
Right, yeah. Alan Rickman.
He's dead.
Yeah, no, he died. And I said that pretty clearly earlier.
No, Alan Cushing's dead.
Yeah, no, they're all dead. There's a lot... Do we have to make this dark? All right, bro. Let's move on to our last section. I'm going to run and grab a beer while the Dealey thing goes. And yeah, we're going to cover some San Diego stuff and a little bit of news. We'll talk a little Game of Thrones, and then we'll kind of call it a week and catch up with all the new stuff next week. Huh?
Sounds good.
All right, I'm going to play the trailer, and I'm going to disappear for a beer, and I will be right back.
I can't imagine any kind of future where I'm a hero. Well, you know, in the future, none of you are heroes. You're legends.
Dead air, Marshall left dead air, in which means I sing, because I want him to find this when he edits. Marshall is a jackass, but I still love him for it. And Marshall's back.
Talking about me?
No, not at all.
I played the trailer.
You did? Well, you played the bumper.
What did I say?
Trailer? I left you a little present for when you edit.
Oh, so when I'm editing, I'm going to hear you say
See
something
you,
stupid? Later, Mox. All right. So, here we are. Let's talk pop culture, dude. Starting with Raw Reviews, you have some movies you saw.
Yeah, well, I'm back from summer, and if you guys don't know, we live in a small town on the coast of Northern California.
We do.
And we live in a town that has a 4-screen movie theater.
I miss Spider-Man Homecoming.
You did, because you suck.
No.
But what it means having a small 4-screen movie theater means that you either don't get the blockbusters very long, or movies don't even come here.
Right.
So I took advantage of the fact that I was in a town that had 2 theaters, each had about 10 screens, and so I was able to see almost everything I wanted. And so I will just rattle off the list of movies I saw this summer.
Okay.
And if you would like me to talk about what I thought,
Sure.
I will. I just went. The latest one I went and saw was Atomic Blonde.
Cool.
Which is with Charlize Theron and James McAvoy. I thought it was very good.
Well, rattle them all off, and then I have two that I want you to talk about.
Okay, Atomic Blonde, The Hero with Sam Elliott, Baby Driver, The House, Rough Night, Megan Levy, Transformers: The Last Night, The Mummy, Once Upon a Time in Venice, Spider-Man: Homecoming, and then I actually went and got to go see Garth Brooks live.
Oh, you did. I don't want to hear about that. But I'm curious about Atomic Blonde and The Mummy, only because I haven't seen Homecoming, and I don't want to hear what you think about that, and I haven't heard some of the other ones. I heard Baby Driver's good, but I've heard enough about it. Tell me, how was Atomic Blonde, dude?
Atomic Blonde is excellent. It's based on a graphic novel.
You didn't see Dunkirk, huh?
I have not.
Okay.
Actually, it's funny. While we were at Comic-Con, my sisters had come into town, and they went and saw Dunkirk with my mom.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so by the time I got back, they'd already seen it, and so
Right.
I didn't get a chance to go.
No worries.
Atomic Blonde is based on a graphic novel.
Yeah.
And the whole premise of it is it's about a British MI6 agent who goes into Berlin at about the time the wall is crashing in 89.
Okay.
To get a high-value target out.
Okay.
And it deals with all of the double and triple crossings between MI6 and CIA and the KGB and German intelligence, all that stuff. And it stars Charlize Theron and James McAvoy. But a big star of the movie is the soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's a lot of new wave pop from the late 80s, so you're going to get a lot of New Order, a lot of
nice,
just a lot of stuff,
I
right?
love that era, yeah.
Which is great, and I've already downloaded the soundtrack, and it's fantastic. But what I love about it is that they interwove the music into. They made it diegenic, so it was like you would hear the music as if it was coming off of off screen, right?
Right.
But then car crash would happen, and the door would fly open, and the music would get louder.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so stuff like that.
Yeah, they did that a little bit in Deadpool sometimes.
Yeah, and they worked that really, really well, which I really liked.
Cool.
The camera work was spot on.
Okay.
There's this one car scene chase where you normally get hood or fender mounted cameras, and that's where you get your angles.
Right.
This one seemed like it was on a gyroscope, and it was on a I don't know if it was CG or if they actually set it up on a track inside the car. But the camera would go from the front of the car to the back as
on the inside.
Yeah, on the inside.
Oh, interesting.
As it's turning to give you different. It was.
Oh, that's kind of badass.
Was a really, really well shot.
I like that.
Car scene. It was really cool. That was phenomenal. And then there's this one scene where there's a shootout, and it's a split second sort of camera shot. But there's a shootout in a hotel room, and somebody's head just gets blown to bits. But behind them is one of those big, huge, 10-foot tall, 10-foot wide, close-up portraits of just a face, right? And the blood gets shot out right behind onto the lips of the portrait, and so it looks like just red lipstick.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's seriously, it's like it's gone, and it's in the background, so you hardly anybody will catch it.
Oh, that's cool.
But it was a beautiful little production design that I thought was fantastic.
Nice. What about The Mummy?
I actually didn't. I didn't hate it as much as a lot of the critics.
A lot of people hated it. That's why I asked about it.
It was obviously supposed to start off the Dark Universe.
They're going to still do it.
That's what I hear. But the thing is, the guy who basically pushed Universal to do the Dark Universe and directed the first one, directed this movie, has not committed to doing more work with it.
Interesting.
But they already have it set up where, Johnny Depp is going to be playing the Invisible Man. And,
yeah.
But what I loved is I had known that Russell Crowe was supposed to be doing Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Right.
But he actually was a character in this.
No way.
It was very much like Marvel, where they started introducing characters early.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I liked that. Tom Cruise was decent. Russell Crowe was fantastic as Hyde.
Yeah.
That was really good. The storyline was a little weak. But, it actually was what I thought it was going to be. So I went into it. It was good.
Sounds good, man. Yeah.
The one movie you didn't ask about that I do want to talk about is actually already available on iTunes, so you can watch it. But it was one of those movies that was released to theaters and iTunes the same day. And that's Once Upon a Time in Venice.
Okay.
Great cast. It stars Bruce Willis. I know we're not huge Willis fans here, but if Willis had acted like this in Cop Out, It would
Kevin
have been
Smith probably have nice things to say.
because he was actually funding this, but John
Right.
Goodman stole the movie.
Goodman's so good.
But it also has Momoa in it.
Oh.
And Momoa plays a Mexican drug dealer named Spider, and he's hilarious. And it's a really, really funny movie, and it has a great cast. You know, like I said, Momoa's in it, Goodman, Bruce Willis, a whole bunch of other people. And it's really well. Ron Funches is in it.
I love him, dude.
And Ron Funches is a drag prostitute.
Oh, I'm not
hilarious.
I like those guys.
And it is already available on Plex.
Nice. I'll check it out.
It's already on there.
All right, dude. Let's briefly, because we did for a while talk about the first episode at our Puck Cantina.
We did.
Game of Thrones. But the 5th episode is airing tonight.
Yes, it is.
You are current.
I am.
First 4. First
of all, spoilers.
Yeah, probably spoilers. So 3, 2, 1 spoilers. First of all, Arya Stark, still my favorite.
And her little tete-a-tete with Brianna Tarth.
Oh my god, if I wasn't watching with the wife, I would have rewound that like 4 times.
You're gonna need something a little bigger than that little lady.
And she just, I mean, honestly, she pwned Brianna Tarth.
Oh yeah,
like it was amazing.
She held back.
Oh yeah, but I just loved everything about that scene.
And the best part about it isn't necessarily the fight, which is brilliant, but it was the reactions of Podrick.
Yeah.
Of
and
Sansa,
yeah,
and Littlefinger.
Yeah, Littlefinger's like, what?
Well, Sansa was like, really like, what the hell's going on? Podrick was like, what the fuck? And Littlefinger just had that smirk. It's like, how can I use this to my advantage?
Right, he's already scheming. And what I liked about Sansa's reaction was she realized, okay, holy crap, this is what my sister has become.
Yeah, she finally
She's become
gets it
something else.
That Arya and Bran did not come back the same kids they left.
And Bran is a trip.
He is.
I felt so bad for her name just went out of my head, but the wildling that helped him all that time.
Yeah.
And in the book, her role is completely different. She actually dies at some point, but which is really interesting. That she stayed the whole time with him, and then she's like, "Okay, well, there's no use for me. I'm going to go." And he's like, "Okay, bye." Yeah, and she's like, "What?"
But
it makes sense for his journey because he sees everything.
Right, exactly. Because what happens is when he comes back, he doesn't refer to himself as Bran. He refers to himself as the Three-Eyed Raven.
Right.
And he's not Bran anymore.
And I think that's so. I think,
and that's why he said he can't be Lord Stark.
Right. Sansa's gonna she's gonna have to figure out how to deal with her siblings, which I think is pretty cool. What I did like too, in these last couple episodes was obviously Jon Snow going to see Khaleesi and dealing with that madness. And her actually eventually, even though she's obsessed with him bending the knee, obviously, but the idea of them kind of working together, but then she actually literally turns to him and asks for advice, and she does the opposite, which I thought was cool because he said, we've seen enough of people, of people with dragons just coming and lighting things on fire. She goes, okay, so I'm gonna go light shit on fire.
Yeah. But the funny thing is it's like, I mean, as we've already known, Game of Thrones does not have a problem with incest.
No.
And
there's something.
There's some sparks going on between Daenerys and Jon, and the fact that she's his aunt is just weird.
It's Game of Thrones.
Oh, it is Game of Thrones.
So, all is
Oh,
good.
and the fact that Cersei just like let it all hang out that her and Jaime are together.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to give a poop anymore.
Well, now that she's on the Iron Throne, she can.
Yeah, no, that whole thing is crazy. I don't know. I'm really enjoying this season. I'm really sad we've only got 3 more left.
4, including tonight.
3.
There's only 7. I thought there was 8 this season, 7 next season.
Pretty sure there's only 7.
Oh, fuck.
I know.
Oh, sorry. Pardon me.
Thanks. Editing. No, I'm pretty sure there's only 7.
Talking about editing.
Okay.
Lena Headey, who plays Cersei.
Yeah.
You got to remember at the end of, what was it, season 4 or 5, where she had the Walk of Shame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was obviously a body double, right? It was such a huge deal because the fact that she actually shown her boobs in 300,
right?
But she didn't for this. But then we saw her boobs in this episode when she was getting out of bed with Jaime.
Indeed.
And I was like, she finally showed him. That's like weird.
That was a body double in the Walk of Shame?
Yes.
Interesting.
It's just her head.
Interesting. I don't really think about things like that.
No. Which is also funny because like Emilia Clarke was like all over the first couple seasons.
Yeah, I'll say.
But she hasn't been naked since.
She hasn't done it since.
Nope.
I know. I thought that was interesting too. All right, man. Any more Game of Thrones? I just think I'm really okay. So in the books, besides Arya, my other favorite character, and actually the relationship between two characters was between Tyrion and Bronn, and
Yes.
and that was a really cool relationship in the books, right? What I find interesting in the show, they seem to be focusing on this relationship between Bronn and Jaime, and the fact that Bronn is the one to shoot the scorpion and deal with all that. I thought that was a really interesting. You almost think he's like at some point going to say "F this, I'm going," but then he stays. So I think that character's arc, I think, is a little more powerful than I expected.
Yeah, well, it's like he doesn't want to admit he has fealty,
Right.
and so he.
But he clearly does. At this
Right. Well,
point.
to Jaime.
Right. It seems to only be the person.
Yeah, not to the
Yeah.
throne, not to Cersei, not to the other people in the army, even.
Right.
Because.
And I always wonder, is it because
because
Jaime's the one that promised him a castle maybe at some point, which is why he kind of
I don't
asked
think
him about that, or is it more than
well,
that?
even though this whole last episode was all about him asking for money, I don't
Right.
think it ever was.
Right. Yeah.
I think he just wanted somebody that he connected with like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just goes to show that. I mean,
They've been through a lot.
However much they backtalk, once Jaime gave an order, he went and did it.
True.
And then once he saw Jaime in trouble when he was charging Daenerys,
He's the one who saves
He's
him.
the one that goes off. Yeah.
All right, man. I absolutely love it, and I couldn't be happier that that's happening right now.
Yeah, it's
and that I
so
get
good.
to watch it, which is cool.
So good.
All right, man. So let's quickly. I have some Dark Towers playing right now in theaters.
Yes, it is.
And
I have not been able to see it.
No, and neither have I.
My brother and my sister-in-law went and saw it, and they're both huge Dark Tower fans
Okay.
of the books. They were very apprehensive of going to the movie, and they both said they really enjoyed it.
Oh, good. Okay, so the main reason I'm bringing it up only is because there was a the link I have in the show notes is a video that basically talks about the show the producers or whatever talking about the movie,
Right.
And the movie in comparison with the TV show. And the fact that the movie is going to focus on books 1 and 3 mostly. It's
Okay.
pulling from all of them, but it's more of a continuation
Right.
of the series. But it's mostly pulling from 1 and 3. So that's the Gunslinger, and the third one. They're skipping. I think one of the more popular ones I think is book 2, which is called Drawing of the Three. And that's one of the more popular ones they're kind of skipping over. So I'm curious to see where they're going to go with that. And the TV series obviously is going to have more time to mess with it and stay more loyal to novels, which I think is cool.
Right.
I'm excited about the movie one way or another. I love the series, so I don't really have like high expectations outside of I just want to see what they do visually with it.
Yeah.
And I don't really care what they pull and what. It's been so long since I read the damn books anyway. Like I just really just want to see.
Well, I
how
can say
it goes
that
on the
I've
screen.
only read Gunslinger. I haven't read any of the others.
Yeah, I've read them all.
Although I'm not a huge fan of, I just haven't been able to get into most of Stephen King's novels.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of his novellas. Like,
Yeah.
I love The Running Man.
Right.
I love The Green Mile.
The other one,
Shawshank.
Apt Pupil. is one
Apt
of-
Pupil. Most of the novellas I've read.
Right.
But the novels are just not my style.
It's almost nothing compared to some of the epic fantasy that's out right now anyway, too, because just lengthwise, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. All right, man, so let's talk about big Disney news.
Yeah, so if you remember correctly, Disney a couple of years ago signed a deal with Netflix.
Yep.
That all their new content was going to be coming to Netflix. Well, that deal is up in 2018.
2018, yep.
So Disney has announced that they're actually going to be pulling all their content from Netflix after the deal is up, and they're going to be creating their own streaming service.
Right.
The link that I put in the link to the article that I put in the show notes actually goes to say that there's actually been a 2-year trial run going on in other parts of the world.
Mostly in the UK, right?
Mostly in the UK. It was also in China for about 5 months, and it's called Disney Life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been phenomenally popular, and it has like all the old animation. I'm wondering if this will be the way we're finally going to get Song of the South.
Well, but that's when I read this, I was like, man. And we've had this conversation so many times, and I remember back in the day, obviously when Disney used to rotate on VHS Now for a limited time, we're bringing back Little Mermaid or 101 Dalmatians or whatever it might be.
They're releasing it from the vault.
Exactly. And will this be a permanent pay Disney and you have access to the vault, which is pretty badass?
Yes, because all of the animated films are available, even stuff that's in the vault right now.
That's cool.
Not only that, but you can actually download some of it for off-site or offline syncing. But not only that, it has all of the Marvel and Star Wars content, including like Forces of Destiny and the Ant-Man shorts and stuff like that.
Wow, cool. I think right now they're still negotiating with Netflix, to keep them on there, right?
No, they've announced they're going to pull.
Okay, I thought that I saw something that said they were still thinking about or still negotiating, but that might have been before
why would
they
Disney
announced
leave
it.
money on the table? Is what I'm thinking, because their
Right.
streaming service right now, the Disney Life in the UK, only costs like $7.
I
a
know,
month.
but they're saying it's going to be probably closer to 13 or something.
Yeah, but it's still
when
less than
when
what,
it launches here. But
It's still less than Netflix.
Yeah.
And the thing is their catalog is so vast.
Yeah.
Especially since they've just purchased Marvel and Lucasfilm.
Right.
Because that's going to be all the Indiana Jones movies.
And for me,
it's going to be the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones from the TV show.
Wow. For me, I mean, this is a no-brainer. I mean, an extra, $10 a month isn't going to kill us, and to have access to all of this stuff that the kids can pull from, one of Rowan's favorites is Lilo and Stitch, and it's just like if she can turn on the TV, and just watch Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, well, you got to remember it's also
great.
all old Disney Channel
Are they going to do TV shows too?
everything.
Awesome.
So you're going to get Girl Meets World. You're going to get Liv and Maddie. You're going to get
Perfect.
Hannah Montana. You're going to get Lizzie McGuire.
And that's all the stuff they love. So,
DuckTales.
easy. Sounds good to me, dude.
Yep.
Yeah. And the new DuckTales too.
Tailspin.
Which I can't wait to watch.
Yes.
But that's a story for another day, sir. So
Now, if they, it would be amazing if they also included all the old Disney shorts.
yeah, that'd be cool too. All right. Let's wrap up with just our time in San Diego, just really quickly. Just some of the stuff we did as press this year.
Yep.
Which I think is important. And then we'll talk about a couple panels, highlights, and just kind of close it out. We're kind of far removed from the convention now. It's been, almost a month.
Yeah.
But honestly, we haven't had a chance to record and without people yelling and screaming and drinking around us. So it might be nice to just kind of wrap up. And also, we did a couple of cool interviews. It would be nice to highlight and send those emails out. And we might have some guests on the show in the future. So
Yes.
let's talk about our interviews first. We interviewed Zach from Cosmunity. And that is the app started by
Orlando Jones.
Orlando Jones. And it's basically an app to bring fandoms together around conventions and stuff, which I thought was pretty cool.
What I love is it's not like most social media where it's not used in person.
Mm-hmm.
This is designed to, while you're at conventions, to enrich that experience.
Yeah, and we had a nice 25-minute conversation with the guy. Really, one of the creators, one of the programmers actually on it. And they're making some big changes in the next few months. We have a link. I'll have a link in the show notes to download the app. It's really a cool thing. You can tell it's in the early stages, but they've got some really big ideas coming down the pike for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think that the more that they build on it and create the concept of actual real world use is going to be what's going to sell it.
For sure. But I want to thank those guys for taking the time.
Yeah,
we almost missed that interview because we
did.
got bogged down with some stuff. But I'm glad we got to talk to Zach, and hopefully we'll get to talk to him again in the future. And keep working on the app. The app is really cool, and definitely check it out. It's on the App Store, Cosmunity.
Yep.
Yeah, I just, like I said, they have a lot of good ideas. I think
Make
it's
sure
exciting.
you download it and rate it. And while you're there, go ahead and give us 5 stars.
Yeah, you're on iTunes anyway. Come on. We also took a tour of the Factory Entertainment booth.
Which is very cool. They have a lot of cool stuff coming up.
And if you're watching the live thing, I bought this at the deal. This is speaking of Game of Thrones, a Hand of the King or Hand of the Queen bottle opener.
It is, and it's actually fairly hefty.
Yeah.
Has a good weight in its hand. But it's very cool. I liked that. I don't want to talk about what you liked most because it might be coming to someone sometime later. Although I don't think she listens to this podcast.
What are you talking about? What I like most? Huh?
The wine stoppers.
The what?
The wine stoppers.
Oh, right. Yeah. So she doesn't listen anyway. So we saw some really cool stuff in that booth. Factory Entertainment, they get their licenses for various properties. And there was some Game of Thrones plushies. There were some wine stoppers.
They had a really cool interactive Batcave.
Yeah. Oh man. And so one of the things that was kind of nice talking to them about is just kind of what their plans are for the future, sort of thing. And it's more of the same, but at the same time, it's like they don't just do it really quickly. Everything is painstakingly they go through this whole process of getting it approved and making sure it's something that they're going to sell and that they can market, which is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite things we saw, where it's actually not something we were expecting to see, and they were posting it as soon when we got there, where I'm a big fan of travel posters. And so they had these pop culture travel posters.
Yeah, those are cool.
Which is pretty darn cool, and I'm definitely have to look into.
Totally. So Factory Entertainment, you'll see them at most conventions, and they just do a lot of cool merch. So if you're into merch, definitely check them out. Thank you to them for giving us their time in their booth. That was awesome. Let's talk about what?
Still say Star Wars section.
Oops. Let's talk about panels we saw, dude.
Yeah, well, we finally, after years of trying, finally got to see the Archer panel, and it was so worth it.
Oh my God, so worth it. The highlight of the Archer panel, not just the T-shirt, and you heard it on the last podcast, we talked about the T-shirt, but the highlight for me was the fact that at some point towards, I'd say 3/4 of the way through, H. John Benjamin was like, I have to go. I have to be somewhere, and he just leaves. And everybody's like, okay. And people are lining up to ask questions.
Right.
And all of a sudden on the big screen,
Archer
you
comes
see
on.
Archer show up. And he's in the back, kind of like Crush from Total Talk with Crush or whatever in Disneyland, where obviously he's behind the scenes controlling, and he's like drinking and he's doing the mannerisms, but he's talking to people.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
It was a really cool interface, and I just loved it so much. It was perfect seeing those guys up there, and the whole cast was there except for the guy who does Krieger, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't there.
No. Krieger was there. It was.
Chris Parnell wasn't.
Parnell wasn't there.
Yeah.
I personally loved Aisha Tyler and Judy Greer's arguing over what the term pegging meant.
Oh my God, that was so good. There was so many moments in that. I just, it was worth the wait. We were out in the sun waiting. We weren't sure if we were going to do it, and we're like, we actually weren't sure we were even going to get in. We were near the back, but
we barely made it in.
Yeah.
One thing I was a little bummed about is, this is, the trouble with being a man of my girth. Is none of the shirts fit me.
Right.
And actually getting out, I was... Okay, give you an idea. I mean, you can kind of see me on camera, but I'm 6 foot 375.
Yeah.
I'm a big boy.
Yeah.
Right? And so they had me a medium-sized shirt as we...
That's perfect for me.
It was awesome. And so luckily I found somebody that I could trade to an extra large, which was the largest one that they had available. But I still gave it away as swag to somebody at the Puck Cantina. But
there was like auctions afterwards. Like everybody's just out there like, I want this for this, and you want this. It was a really... We actually sat around for a while waiting for everybody to leave. I thought they were only giving T-shirts to people asking questions.
No, they give them to everybody as you walk out.
They give them to every single person. That is a cool panel. Those are the panels you want to go to and wait. If you're going to wait 2.5 hours for a panel and you get something out of it and you get an experience you can't get anywhere else, that's important.
Yeah, and we've been trying to get into Archer for years.
Yeah. Speaking of panels that I cried during, which I didn't cry during Archer, but I cried during the next one. On Sunday, when people were going their separate ways, I elected to jump in line for Hall H. I got down about 11, maybe a little before 11 o'clock, and jumped in line. And I was just like, you know what? Kevin Smith is moderating. Kind of fell asleep during the Mark Bernardin show the night before. But
yeah, you did.
I was tired. But anyway, I decided to get in line for Hall H because Kevin Smith was moderating the Dirk Gently panel.
Right.
And after that was BBC's panel for Doctor Who. And I knew I was cutting it close with shopping time and getting to my Uber, get to the airport and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? My flight's late. I'm just going to do it. So I had an amazing time.
Nice.
I had to sit through the Last Ship panel. And when I got through that, and Dirk Gently came up, Kevin Smith was up there. The whole cast was there. The panel was phenomenal. I cannot wait for next season of the show. They show the trailer for it and stuff. It was really cool. And then the Doctor Who panel, the whole cast was there.
Very cool.
What was sad, what was the moment for me, though, was and Chris Hardwick, of course, moderated. And there was a moment where, and Hall H is a little over 6,500 people.
Right.
The entire place was full by the time Doctor Who
of course
went. And they gave Peter Capaldi a standing ovation, and
he's done,
saying goodbye to the Doctor. It was
the Christmas episode's going to be his last episode.
Yeah, it was a really powerful. It was one of those things like if you're in the room, it's hard to explain if you're not in the room, but man, it was hard.
That's cool.
So that was really cool. But again, the cast was there. The lady who plays the master was there. Like, it was just a really great panel. But you could see when everybody's clapping for him, Capaldi's like, I don't know what to do. There's 6,500 people standing, and it was just a really cool moment. So it's one of those things, like, I'm really happy that I did.
That's very cool. Yeah, and that was your second time getting into Hall H, right?
Yeah, it was.
Very cool.
So I really had a nice time. Any other panels? I think that was mostly it, right?
Yeah, it's mostly what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah. Offsites were interesting this year. We went to a bunch. We did the Kraken party, the Geek and Sundry party.
That
which
was a
really
lot
cool.
of fun. Dude, all the rum we could drink.
Yeah, I saw there was a follow-up video to it, and I was looking for us the whole time.
Were you?
It was like a 2.5 minute video with Homeboy
Dan
talking
Casey.
about it. Yeah, talking about
it. Was cool
it.
because actually I ran into Dan Casey, so that was very cool.
So we did that.
I could have done with a lot of the Nickelodeon theme songs that were playing. But
I just wanted to dance. It was fun. It was fun.
You definitely danced.
I danced. Thanks to Steve and Tiff for dancing with me. And then offsites, I was kind of bummed there were no panels offsites this year.
Yeah, it was definitely a little different.
That was the major difference, I think.
Because Nerd HQ didn't come. Right. Nerdist didn't do any of their panels offsite.
They didn't do any of it.
All of the Geek and Sundry panels were on site.
Right.
Except for one that they did that Felicia Day did with the Impractical Jokers.
At Petco.
At Petco.
Yeah.
But it wasn't for Geek and Sundry. It was for a different thing.
So that was a little bit of a bummer. I hope they kind of go back to that next year because it's nice to not have to stand in lines that long or to be in a place or to buy a ticket or to just go to a panel that's not in the convention center and have that opportunity. I think it would be pretty cool again. That was probably the one thing that I was not super stoked about. There were some other things. I have a link in the show notes to 5 winners, 5 losers from San Diego Comic-Con, and that's from SCC unofficial blog. And really, it's just like 5 things that were awesome, 5 things that weren't. Right. One of the things before we get out of here really is lack of merch on the floor, I felt like, and during panels outside of Archer. Like, there just wasn't a lot of free stuff out there this year.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of swag this year.
Yeah, even on the offsites, usually they're giving away stuff. And, like, I came home with almost nothing this year.
Yeah, I got some Tick toiletries. That's about it.
Yeah. I got a fanny pack from Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with a fanny pack?
I remember a couple of years ago we got Assassin's Creed shaving gear.
So much stuff. But anyway, that is
books at the Del Rey booth. Stuff like that. It was just there was not a lot of free stuff.
There really wasn't. And there were some line issues. We talked about it at Pucked a little bit. And I think this year staff was a little bit unprepared and undertrained.
Yes.
And they weren't really sure. I felt like every time I asked a staff member something,
they didn't know.
They had no idea. And a lot of it was simple things like, is there another bathroom if I keep going this way?
Yeah.
Because I was in a part of the convention center I wasn't familiar with. And I was
like when we were trying to get to the mezzanine.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, like, how do you not know do you know where you're at?
Exactly. I will say, I won't say disappointed, but I didn't have as much fun at Fatman on Batman as I did the previous year.
Right.
Babylon was great.
Babylon was awesome. They read our email, which was great.
They read your email again, which was great. I got called out at the end of the episode.
Oh, right. Don't say it.
For saying River or something. But I will say, even though Roy Wood Jr. did not show up, the comedians at the Sal Vulcano show were hilarious.
And Sal Vulcano himself was really funny.
Sal Vulcano was great.
And as a highlight to that, and this is a quick little story, behind us, is a House of Blues, and you pay for your seats or you stand in general. And we had our drinks. We were ready to go. We were kind of off to the side of the 4th row. The 5th row behind us was almost empty except for 2 girls behind us. And they asked an usher, they're like, hey, can we move down because there's nobody sitting in these chairs? He's like,
they're reserved.
No, they're reserved. And we kind of looked at the girls. We're like, wait, what? And then 30 seconds before the show started.
Well, before Sal set.
They didn't
come out for the other guys.
That's right. They didn't come out for the other guys. Before Sal came out, it was Brian Quinn and Murr and their people. Yep. They all filtered out. And over my left shoulder, I got to look over and see Murr and Q's reactions to their friend on stage, which was really cool.
Yeah, and as they were walking in, I looked at him and said, what's up, Murr?
I was like, I was like, hey, Q. And he's like, hey. So, I mean, that stuff like that is pretty cool, man.
They obviously remembered us from when we saw him a few years ago.
Clearly.
Absolutely.
In the dark.
Yes.
Yeah, got it. So stuff like that is I had a great time. I got really, as you can hear in the I recorded something before the Pucked 2017 episode, the last episode 106. I got really sick when I got back. my body was just like, you're done, dude. You've been running for 3 weeks. I had a vacation before that, and it kicked my butt.
Dude,
but
we're not 20 anymore.
No, we're not. And I felt like I was like sick and hungover for like 2.5 days.
You know what the awesome thing is this okay. Like I said, I'm a big boy. I'm 6 foot 375.
Yeah.
Marshall's far shorter and far less heavy than I am. So when we walk, Marshall's a speed demon. I purposely went into this year's con saying, okay, I'm going to go at my own pace.
Right.
Because we both had badges. We didn't have to worry about trying to make sure the other one was entertained. We had plenty of people that we were hanging with. And, so I didn't feel pressure to, like, keep up with you. And you were actually going a little slower this time,
I
too.
was tired.
I mean, you weren't doing 25,000 steps every day anymore.
I wasn't, no.
We were hitting closer to 10, 12,000 steps. And so it was nice. It was like I wasn't overwhelmed. We had
a good time, man. And I think part of it, too, helped that we met up with a ton of people and a ton of our friends. And thanks to everybody, again, at the top of the show, we shouted you out. But thanks to everybody who showed up for Pucked and everybody else we know from San Diego and from parts beyond. It was awesome meeting Elise for the first time in real life.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So thank you to everybody who showed up. We had a great con. And, that's going to do it, man. I think, right?
Yeah, I think it's the end of the show.
Cool, let's go. So thanks for tuning in to The Usual Podcast. If you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And, of course, we're on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I am at Darth Pops on Twitter, and Will is at Ammo Griggs. When you see us on the social medias, say hi. Give us positive ratings, like us and share us and all that. We love it. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/usualpodcast. If you give us $1 or $2 an episode, you can get our trailer time, which we watched all the San Diego Comic-Con trailers as an exclusive video. We also do blooper reels for every show and some other stuff to come down the line as well. Eventually, I send you socks and codes and stuff for SWTOR, which is awesome as well. audibletrial.com/usualpodcast is another way to support the show. I was just on a vacation where I read a lot, and I read, definitely read The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, which is phenomenal. And I read Brandon Sanderson's first book, which is called, it just flew out of my head. Elantris. Yeah, Brandon Sanderson's first book, Elantris, which is really good as well. But anything on there, you get on us. One book for free, and we get $15, which is great.
Awesome.
We like money.
We do.
It helps.
It does.
It helps us go to Comic-Con next year.
It actually, I will honestly say, it personally helped me this year.
Yeah, exactly, guys. All right, so we're back in the saddle, buddy.
We are.
We're back. So I guess what are we gonna do?
That's it. Make sure you guys have fun.
Yeah, have fun. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Done. Thank you. If anybody's left in the chat room, you're awesome. Thank you. What is this? Oh, my mic cord?
Yeah, you gave it to me for con.
Oh.
For this one to connect.
Oh, got it. Okay. No, next one. Cool, man. All right. Thanks, chat room. We are out of here. Peace out.